छन्दसामपि मङ्गलानां च कर्तारो वन्दे वाणी विनायको
राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। प्रथमहि में कहि शिव चरिता, भूज परम तुम्हार श्री राम। सुचि सेवक तुम राम के, रहित समस्त विकार श्री राम। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। मैं जाना तुम्हार गुण सीरा, कहूँ सुनहु अब रघुपति लीला। सुनो मुनि आज समागम तोरे, कहीं न जाई जस सुख मन मोरे। रामचरित अति अमित मुनीसा, कहीं न सकहि सच कोटि अहीसा। करति जटाशुच कहु बखानी, सुमिरि गिरापति प्रभु जनु पानी। सारद दारुणाहि सम स्वामी, राम सूत्रधर अंतर्यामी। जेहि पर कृपा करहि जनु जानी, कबीर अशरथ नावहि पानी। कनहु सोई कृपाल रघुनाथा, बरनउँ पार कास गुण गाथा। कलम रम्य गिरिवरु कैलासु, सदा जहाँ शिव उमा निवासु। सिद्धत पूजन जोगी जना, सुरखि नर मुनि वृंद श्री राम। बसहि तहाँ सुकृति सकला, सेवहि शिव सुख कंद श्री राम। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय हरिहर विमुख धर्म रखि नाही, तेन रतहा सपने नहीं जाई।
राम कथा कलि कामद गाई, सुजन सजीवन मूरि सुहाई। राम कथा कलि कामद गाई, सुजन सजीवन मूरि सुहाई। राम कथा कलि कामद गाई, सुजन सजीवन मूरि सुहाई।
राम कथा कलि कामद गाई, सुजन सजीवन मूरि सुहाई।
बुध विश्राम सकल जन रंजन, राम कथा कलि कलुष विभंजन।
बुध विश्राम सकल जन रंजन, राम कथा कलि कलुष विभंजन।
बुध विश्राम सकल जन रंजन, राम कथा कलि कलुष विभंजन।
बुद्धि विश्राम सकल जन रंजन, राम कथा कलि कलुष विभंजन।
तेरा परमारथ बन जाए,
परमारथ बन जाए,
तेरा परमारथ बन जाए।
तेरा परमारथ बन जाए।
श्री नारद जी कर कथा हो, जय जय राम कथा, जय श्री राम कथा, जय जय
राम कथा, जय श्री राम कथा,
जय जय राम कथा, जय श्री राम कथा, जय जय
राम कथा, जय श्री राम कथा।
मोह महिषेश विशाला, राम कथा कालिका कराला। महामोह महिषेश जय जय राम कथा, श्री राम कथा, जय जय राम कथा, जय श्री राम कथा, जय राम कथा, जय श्री राम कथा, जय जय
राम कथा, जय श्री राम कथा।
इसे श्रवण कर मिट जाती है, इसे श्रवण कर मिट जाती है, इसे श्रवण कर मिट जाती है, इसे श्रवण कर मिट जाती है। 100 जन्म जन्म की व्यथा हो, जय जय राम कथा, जय जय राम कथा, जय जय राम कथा, जय श्री राम कथा, जय जय राम कथा, जय श्री राम कथा,
जय जय राम कथा,
जय श्री राम कथा। Let us all join in doing salutations to Lord Ganesh, to Mother Saraswati, to Guru and to Bhagwan Ram. Gajananam Bhutganam Kapitjambu Phalasar Bhakshanam Umasutam Shokavinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwar Padpankajam Ya Kundendu Tusharharadhavala Ya Shubhra Vastravrita या वीणा वरदंड मंडित करा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शंकर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेष जाड्यापहा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः लोकाभिरामम् रणरङ्गधीरम् राजीवनेत्रम् रघुवंशनाथम् सब गाइए लोकाभिरामम् रणरङ्गधीरम् राजीवनेत्रम् रघुवंशनाथम् कारुण्यरूपम् करुणाकरं तम् श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरं तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये राम कथा के ते ही अधिकारी जिनके सत संगति अति प्यारी श्री राम जय राम राम कथा के तेई अधिकारी जिनके सत्संगति अति प्यारी श्री राम जय राम
जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
बिनु सत्संग विवेक न होई राम कृपा बिनु सुलभ न सोई श्री राम
जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
अवध तहाँ जहाँ राम निवासु दिवस तहई जहाँ भानु प्रकाशु
श्री राम जय
हवन मंगलहारी तब सुदशरथ अजिर बिहारी श्री राम जय राम
जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
नहीं कलिकर मन भगति विवेक राम नाम अवलंबन एक
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय
राम बोलो राम 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 सीता राम 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 बोलो
राम 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 सीता राम राम
राम बोलो राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
बोलो राम राम
राम
सीता
राम राम श्याम रामचंद्र की जय. A very special welcome to all of you here and to all those who are listening outside on Heritage Radio 101.7. A very special welcome to our dear and kind Sri Hans Hanuman Singh Ji for coming here and covering this, taking it to people everywhere. And then finally to all those who are listening on the various social media platforms across Trinidad and the world. Hari Om and welcome. Last night we had the farewell night, cooking night. In Trinidad, local language we call farewell night, cooking night and all. Previous day was Matikor, I think. But tonight is wedding. Bhagwan Shiva, Parvati. It's a most wonderful wedding. And if from a very ordinary standpoint, if you think this is called as Ramayana, Ramcharitamanas, and in the beginning, now today, we will cross 100 dohas. That means almost 1,000 verses. And still nothing about Ram. It's about Lord Shiva and Sati and Parvati and all of it. So then you ask, what is the rationale? Why Tulsidashi gives so much of importance to this Shiva Parvati Vivaha, wedding of Shiva and Parvati? And I told you on the previous day, please pay attention to this. Behind Tulsidashi's composition is deep philosophical teaching of the Upanishads. In the Upanishads and in this Ramayana also, it is said that the Jiva and Ishvara are one. There are no two things in the universe. There is only one thing in the universe. That thing is called as Satchit Ananda. It is the same Satchit Ananda which manifests as all the things which we see. Gunadosha. All the good and bad things which we see in the world is all manifestation of like the negative and the positive in the atom. Right? Both energy only. Same one Shakti, energy. So, that one reality is manifested as all things. That means the Jiva and the Ishvara, they are also one. But no Jiva feels that. Which Jiva feels? Anybody feel he is one with God? He feels furthest thing from God. Isn't it? Ishvara Jivams Avinashi. So the scriptures tell like that. And the marriage of Ram, Sita ji, this marriage which will take place sometime soon, that marriage is symbolic marriage of the Jiva and the Ishvara coming together. The Jiva realizing his oneness with Ishvara. And there's so much of trials and tribulations for that also. In that Ram, Sita, Vivaha, we'll see that. But before that can happen, the Jiva has to bring about an integration in his personality. Because Jiva has split personality. There are so many divisions in the Jiva's mind. split personality, means all sorts of inconsistencies plague his mind. So this jiva, with his mind split and going in all different directions, has to integrate that mind. When that integration of the mind takes place, then the jiva Ishvara oneness will be realized. So the Shiva Parvati Vivaha in the beginning of the Ramcharitmanas is the integration of the personality of the jiva. Now you see how the jiva's personality is so well represented by Shiva and Sati. Shiva is telling that is not the correct thing to do. But Sati goes and does. There is a jiva in his mind. The mind knows what is the wrong thing and what is the correct thing. Everybody know what is right and what is wrong. Every human being. From childhood also, we know what is right and what is wrong. I told you this. But even though knowing what is right and what is wrong, we still go and do the wrong thing. So, that jiva, or that mind has to be subjected to an enormous amount of, first of all, sorrow, tapas, discipline, all of these things. That is why there is sorrow in the world. Please don't think that Bhagavan put sorrow there for nothing. If the jiva does not get some sorrow, he doesn't turn. Everything going nice and happy and dandy. So, this all things happen to Sati now. They represent one. That's why Ardhanarishwar, Shiva Parvati is actually one. So that integration has to take place, and when it happens, the jiva will realize his Ishwaratvam, his oneness with Ishvara. So that is why such a big portion of this Balkand, now we wish more than 100 verses, more than 100 doha, almost 1,000 verses. And Shiva Parvati Vivaha still going on. Okay. So, last night when we left now, Lord Shiva and his entire retinue, all the ganas, all of them, ghosts and goblins and all the different types of beings with one eye, 2 eyes, 4 eyes, 5 eyes, no eyes. All of them were there. In that retinue. They reached there now and all. We saw that nice. I think all of them must be have iPhone. Anyway, they Dekata Rupa Sakala Sura Mohe. And then we saw how Narad ji also came and explained this is Parvati ji herself who has come there in the house of Himavan. Nobody had known before. Narad had not disclosed before. You see? Himavan himself did not know. Maina, they did not know that Parvati ji herself had come. Now everything is set. Rishi, Munis, all of them, Brahma ji, all the Devas, everybody were there. And the whole thing now put together. Everybody took their respective seats and place was decorated so nicely and all lavishly arranged for the whole marriage of Jagadamba, Ambika Mata, mother of the whole universe. Jagat Janani she is. And then they brought that Dulahin. In Trinidad language, you say Dulahin, Dulhan. They brought that Dulhan down to that pandal where that marriage was. Now you see, this is after now 99. After 99, few lines down. See, when everybody saw Parvati ji come there, Uma, Jagadambika, Jagat Janani, in that pandal, Tulsidas she describes her entrance. देखत रूप सकल सुर मोहे
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
परनै छवि अस जग कवि को है
श्री राम जय
जगदम्बिका जननी भवभामा
श्री राम जय राम
जगदम्बिका जानी भवभामा
श्री राम जय राम
सुर नमन ही मन कीन प्रणामा
श्री राम जय राम
सुंदरता मर्याद भवानी
श्री राम जय राम
जाई न कोति हु बदन बखानी
श्री राम जय राम
जय रघुराम जय सीताराम जय सीताराम श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय Tulsidas ji's description goes on for so many lines. Let us do the chanda also. Kote hu badan nahi bane baranat jag jan subhama sakuchai kahat shrish sarat mandamati tulsi kaha छवि खानी मातु भवानी गवनी मध्य मंडप शिव जहाँ अवलोकि सकहीं न सकुच पति पद कमल मनु मधु करुतहा श्री नवकंजलोचन देखत रूप सकल सुर मोहे. And the gods who were present there, all the various forms of the divinities, they were present there. When they saw that Parvati enter that mandap, what do we call it in Trinidad? Mandap? Mandap? Maro. Yeah. Sura mohe, sakala sura mohe. They became, her beauty bewitched everybody like that. Baranai chabi asa jaga kabi ko hai means which poet in the world could describe her beauty? No poet is capable of doing. That is Tulsidaji's. Jagadambika jani bhava bhama surana manahi manakina pranam. All the gods, knowing her to be the mother of the universe, they did pranam in their own minds from where they were sitting. In the 33 crores of them, all of them doing pranam from where they were. Sundarata marajad bhavani, her beauty and her marjad means her influence of greatness. Beauty and greatness, bhavani. Jaina kotihu badana bakhani. Even one with 10 million mouths cannot describe Tulsidaji's words. Kotihu badana nahi bane. Baranat Jagat Janani Sobha Maha. Her exquisite beauty and resplendence cannot be described even by 10 million mouths. Sakuchahi kahata shruti sesha sadada mandamati tulasi kaha. And if the scriptures fall short in describing her beauty, Sesh with 1,000 heads, 1,000 mouths, Sarad, who is the goddess of speech, if they fall short in describing her beauty, where is Mandamati Tulasi? dull-witted Tulsi. This is, how can he do it? That is the idea. Chabi khani matu bhavani gavani madhya mandapa siva jahan. She came, that beautiful, that storehouse of beauty, Bhavani, Matu Bhavani, she was brought there in the middle of the mandap, maro. Avaloki sakahinas sakucha pati pada kamala manu madhukaru taha. There, everybody feasted their eyes on this mountain of beauty, as it were, like that. Huh? Then, all the Muni, Rishis and all, they got number 100. Who was supposed to do the wedding? Who was supposed to do perform all the rites? Sasan Ganapati Pujeu Sambhu Bhavani Rama Pujeu Sambhu Bhavani Kausuni Samsaya Kare Jani Sur Anadi Jiya Jani Siya Par Ramachandra Ji Jai Sharanam हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम बोलो महापति महादेव की जय मुनि अनुशासन गणपति ही पूजे शंभु भवानी. Listen to the line, directed by the Munis, Rishis, all those who were there. So many. And the Sapta Rishi themselves came first. Gautam Rishi, Vishwamitra, Vasishta, all the different Rishis, all of them were present there. Then, guided by them, Shiva Parvati first did puja of Lord Ganesh. What a thing. You remember, Ganesh is not born yet. That is their own son. Right? So they did puja. And Tulsidaji quickly in the next line says, Ko, because he knows the question will come up. Ko suni samsay kare jani. Hearing this, don't have any doubt that Lord Shiva Parvati first did puja to Lord Ganesh, because the tradition is first salutations to Lord Ganesh, Pratama Dev, he is called. Sura Anadi, then he explanation he gives now. Sura Anadi Jiya Jani, knowing that the divinity is eternal. It is not that the divinity is born at a certain time or the divinity is created at a certain time. There is no such thing. They are all eternal. They manifest. They may manifest at a certain time. It means appear here or appear there, appear this time, that time and all. That is a different thing. Manifestations are different thing from existence. So, Sura Anadi Jiya Jani. Understand that all the devata, all the forms of the divine. What to talk of forms of the divine? This thing is true for all jivas also. Chetan Amala Sahaja Sukha Rashi. Ishwar Amsa Jiva Avinashi. The Jiva also is Avinashi. Here, Anadi, beginningless, all the forms. Everything in the universe is Anadi. Things do not come into being. Na sato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha. Ubhayoho api drishtontaha tvanayoho. Tattvadarshibhihi. Bhagavan tells in Bhagavad Gita. All things are there. Please pay attention to these type of verses. When Tulsidaji only puts in what do you call of the four padas, the last pada which is short. He says, Sura Anadi Jiya Jani. That thing actually brings to the fore all the knowledge of the scriptures. Telling that all things in the universe, they are there already. What is happening is, things are just coming into manifestation, staying for some time, and then all the water is already there in the ocean. Waves are just coming. That water forms a wave. Then the wave subsides, but the water is not lost. The wave or the rupa, called nama rupa, the nama rupa subsides, and from that same ocean, again another one comes. Like this, all things are there in the universe already. They're just manifesting and demanifesting. This is pure Hindu philosophy. Yeah? So, Lord Shiva, Parvati, they are doing worship in their wedding, firstly of Lord Ganesh. And when Tulsidas tries to explain that, he says, all the forms of the divinity, all things actually are eternal. This is the idea. All the rishis, they are feeling privileged to have the opportunity to do the wedding of Shiva and Parvati. See, just after 100, right there. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Shri Ram
Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
जसी विवाह के विधि श्रुति गाई श्री राम जय राम
Jai Jai Ram
महामुनिन सो सब करवाई श्री राम
Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
Shri Ram Jai Ram
गई गिरी से कुश कन्या पानी
Shri Ram Jai Ram
भवहि समर्पी जानी भवानी
Shri Ram Jai Ram
पानी ग्रहण जब दीन महेशा श्री राम जय राम हिय हर्षे तब सकल सुरेशा श्री राम जय राम वेद मंत्र मुनि वर उच्चरहि श्री राम जय राम जय 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 शंकर सुर करहि श्री बाजहि बाजन विविध विधान श्री राम जय राम सुमन वृष्टि नभ है विधिनाना हर गिरिजा कर भयउ विवाहु सकल भुवन भरी रहा उछाहु श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम Jaya Ram, Jaya Ram, Jaya Ram. Syamar Ramachandra ki Jai. Who could describe the wedding also of this Jagadambika Mata, the mother of the universe and father of the universe? Who could describe it? Jasi vivaha ke Vidhi Shruti Gai, as Tulsidashi in his, and she told only just now, Mandamati Tulasi. He'd all visit Tulasi. How he can describe? Who can describe? Which poet, he says. But he adventurously goes for to try to describe this thing. Jasi vivaha ke Vidhi Shruti Gai, Maha Muninakso Sab Karavai. Brahmaji himself directs the wedding. Brahmaji directing the wedding. He's the wedding director. And all the Rishi Munis, they are doing as Brahmaji says, and Brahmaji is following scripture. Tulsidas ji, please pay attention to this. That's why in the beginning he tells, in the opening mantra, the Mangalacharan, he tells, Nana Purana Nigamagama Sammatam Yad Ramayane Nigaditam Kwachidanyatopi. Please pay attention to this very important thing. What happens is, somebody comes along in the annals of time, and then they come up with ideas and all of that sort of thing. And the ideas that they come up with, they don't jive with the scriptures. And they come up with their own thing. But what they do, they take things from the scriptures, but they come up with something in their name. So Siddhaji is doing no such thing. From the beginning itself, he tells, I am relating what is there in all the scriptures. There is no departure from scriptures. No departure from scripture. And this is very important thing. Shruti is our praman. Shruti is our authoritative source of knowledge. No any other thing. So the moment we depart from the Shruti, depart from the Vedas, that this actually, please pay attention to the word atheist in English and atheist in Sanskrit. Atheist in English is what? One who does not believe in God. The Sanskrit word for that is Nastik. Nastik. But Nastik in the Hindu tradition means one who does not believe in the Vedas. Nastik is one who does not accept Vedic authority. There's a difference in the two words. So just by this word you can tell the importance of Vedic authority. And now here also, Brahmaji is directing the marriage ceremony. But Tulsidaji writes, Jasi vivaha ke Vidhi Shruti Gai. Brahmaji is directing only using the Shruti, which Brahmaji himself manifests. But the Shruti is eternal. He is the manifester of that. But he is using that Shruti to direct the wedding. So, like this, you will see all of these lines coming everywhere, which is a very clear indication that Tulsidashi was Shastravan, one who knew the Shastras well. And not only that, he followed the Shastras 100%, like that. Not to come up with your own thing. And when people come up with their own intellectual things, they think that is the right thing. The Vedas don't know. The Rishis don't know. I know. No such thing. We belong to a Shruti tradition. Wonderful. Anyway, those lines come in, and all the Rishis, as Brahmaji tells, they follow. Gahi Giri, Sakusa Kanya, Pani. And Giris now. Giris means Himavan. The east of the Giri. East of the Giri means the Lord of the mountain. Himavan. Father of Parvati ji. He brought her there. And Kanya Pani, Bhavai Samarpi Jani Bhavani. And he gave her hand to Lord Shiva. It's called Pani Grahan. See, next word. Pani Grahan Javakina Mahesa. Hiharashe Taba Sakala Suresa. When Lord Shiva took her hand, all the gods were happy. Tulsidaji, first thing he puts. Who were happy? The gods. Why they were happy? I didn't know they got married. Now their son will be born and he'll kill a Tarakasur. See, that is all they're thinking about, you see. Everybody in this world, he tells, we'll see in Aranyakand, everybody in this world selfish. They only have their own self-interest at heart. Huh? So they're happy now. Shiva Parvati got married. You see? Vedamantra Muni Vara Ucharahi. And when he held her hand, took her hand in marriage. See where it comes from? Took her hand in marriage. Anyway, so Pani Grahan actually literally means taking the hand. The Rishi Munis, they chanted all the appropriate mantras at that time, and Jai 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 Sankara Surakarahi, and all the devatas who were there, Jai 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 Sankara, they all gave Ucharan loudly. Bajahi Bajan, Bibida Bidhana, and they played every conceivable type of music. Can you imagine everything blaring forth at the same time? Oh, when you talk about noise. Sumana Brishti Navabe Vidhinana. And from the sky came down flowers. Tulsi Daji likes that, I tell you. From the sky, there's an inexhaustible source of flowers in the sky. And throughout the whole Ramayana, for the 10,000 verses, flowers coming down like that. Haragirija kara bhayav vibahu sakala bhuvanavari raha uchahu. The whole universe rejoiced in the wedding of Shiva and Parvati, Jagadamba Mata and Jagat Pita. Nava Uma Sama Prana Sama. Now, Maina, mother of Sitaji. Well, you know, in weddings, you will know the traditional things. Everybody is good until time to go. Right? In Trinidad, जाने वाले दुल्हन. You know, they have taken that swara and they have made Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram also. Anyway, that will remind you of that thing only. Let me not tell. So, now it was time to go. Maina says a few words to Lord Shiva. And to Parvati ji also. Especially to Parvati ji. And that section, I think, now one more thing, let me tell you. That section really is about telling Parvati ji, when you go there, and she makes some very strong comments. When you go there, you please remember, Lord Shiva is your Lord. Your husband is your Lord. Now, many women don't like that. Swamiji, my husband, my Lord, but I feel like a Rakshas. Some people say like that. All kind of things we hear. And she also tells, Kata vidhi sriji nari jagamahi paradhina sapaneu sukha nahi. How providence has made women that everywhere they are helplessly under the influence of others. This is strong words, Kareu sada sankar pada puja. So you do. So anyway, she goes on making all of these comments. So I also don't want to just, what we say, escape and not deal with it. So few things you have to think. One is, society is a dynamic thing. Society has never been the same at any It keeps changing. So if something comes out 500 years ago, there is no way that it will be the same today. And Hindu scriptures also make room for this type of thing. I'll tell you how the scriptures are formed. The basic and fundamental principles in the scriptures, they are kept. That is called as Shruti. But Shruti is restated. Shruti is restated, and it is called as Smriti, but restated for the time in which we are living, without departing from or destroying the fundamental truth. That thing has to be restated. So, the tradition allows for the restatement of fundamental truths to fit the modern times. So when we read something in this Ramcharitamanas, which does not jive with modern day living, that is all you have to understand. What is that? It is written and it was accepted 500 years ago. Now see what has happened. Not what 500 years ago, let me tell you. Just until about 50 or 60 years ago, most women were in the homes, correct or not? Just about 50, 60 years ago, most women were in the homes, they were homemakers. So they were paradhin. Paradhin is the word Tulsidas uses. Means what? Depending on the husband, dependent on the father-in-law, dependent on the people in the house who are working and who are bringing an income. So this is all recent. Up to recent, this was like this. Now it has changed. Now they are not paradhin. Swatantra now. Swatantra means? Paradhin and paratantra. Now swatantra means independent. So that has changed. So it just means that because society naturally is a dynamic thing, it changes. That has changed. And so Maina is giving advice to Parvati ji in her place and her time. That is the idea. Tulsidas ji is writing like that. And women were dependent on others and all of that. Because Paradhin is a very strong word. Like, so, don't think that the scriptures also cannot be protected from the grand course of time. Because here the rule, in this universe, everything is vyaya. Vyaya means everything is changing. That is the rule of the universe. See, when I came here in 97, when I came back here, I had hair. And it was black. But Vyaya Swarup means what? His nature is to change. So here today and gone tomorrow. This is Vyaya Swarup. And everything is subject to that. So the scriptures also. Now, because the scripture wrote one thing at one time, it doesn't mean to say that that thing will be suited for all time. See, what are the general things that are there? See, this is the rule. Everything is changing. First truth. No, that is fundamental truth. That will not change. That truth will not change in any scripture coming anytime. Because that is the way. Those are fundamental truths. But women being dependent on others, that is not a fundamental truth. That is only in a place and time. So this you have to understand that message like that. Now, the little talk was given by Maina, then Girish also, means now Himawan, they also told Lord Bhagavan Shankar, okay, now time to go, Hurry up. Yeah. Huh? Hurry up, yeah. Hari Om, that's it. Hari Om Tat Sat. It is now time to go. So they said their respective goodbyes and all the crying and all the things. You could go ahead and read all the details of the wedding and all that. Everybody got in their vahan and this and that, and they headed out for Kailash. Bhagwan Shankar and the whole retinue, all the gods went back to their. See, this is now after 102. जब ही शंभु कैलाश ही आए
श्री राम जय जय राम
सुर निज निज लोक सिधाए
श्री राम जय राम
सुर सब निज निज लोक सिधाए
श्री राम जय राम
जगत मातु पितु शंभु भवानी
श्री राम जय राम
तेहि सिंगारुन कहूँ बखानी
श्री राम जय राम
श्री राम जय राम जय राम
श्री राम जय राम
जय रघुराम
जय रघुराम
जय सीताराम
जय सीताराम
सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। जब ही शंभु कैलाश ही आए सुर सब निज निज लोक सिधाए. All the gods came all the way back to Kailash with that whole retinue and that whole crowd. And then Bhagwan Shiva Parvati reached Kailash there. Then all the gods went to their respective lokas and dham, means homes, wherever they came from and all that. Tulsidaji says, now about the married life of Shiva and Parvati, their mother and father to me, I cannot tell. Bas. Finish. Then, Taba Janameu, then, now see, just before number 103, the purpose of the gods were fulfilled by Shiva Parvati. In one verse, in one chaupai Tulsidashi wraps it up. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
श्री राम जय राम
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
श्री राम जय
तब जनमे उषद बदन कुमारा
श्री राम जय राम
तारक असुर समर जही मारा
श्री राम जय राम
आगम निगम प्रसिद्ध पुराण
श्री राम जय राम
षण्मुख जनम सकल जग जान
श्री राम जय राम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
श्री राम
जय
जय राम
तब Janameu Shatabhadan Kumara then was born. Shatabhadan means the six-faced Kartikeya. Yes. He is also called as Muruga. Subramanyam, all the names you have heard of. This is Kartikeya was born. Taraku, Asuru, Samara Jahi Mara. And on the battlefield, he demolished, eradicated that Tarakasur. And Tulsidas, he says, no. See, whole story of the Puranas, of Shiv Puran, and everywhere it says, Agama Nigama Prasiddha Purana. And the Agama and Nigama means Vedas and all these, Smritis and Puranas and all. He says, this story is well known. And therefore, Shanmukha Janmu, Sakala Jaga Jana, the whole world knows it. And therefore, I am not going to tell. Because everybody already knows. Now, after 103, Sambhu Charita Suni Sarasa Suhava Bharadvaja Muni Ati Sukhu Pava. Now remember what is going on. It is Yajna who was telling this whole story to Bharadvaj. This happened, remember, for those who are joining all the nights, remember in Prayag, when everybody was leaving, Bharadvaj Muni grabbed the feet of Yajna ji and said, Jagabalik, I remember the name. Please tell Ram Katha. Now he told up to Shiva Vivaha, Shiva Parvati Vivaha wedding. And Tulsidas, he says, Sambhu Charita Suni Sarasa Suhava, the most beautiful and nectarine katha of Lord Shiva, Bharadvaja Muni. Ati Sukhu Pava. He got so much of joy. But then he's looking at the Yajnavalkya like this. He looks at him. He said, but I told you to tell Ram Katha. You told Shiva Katha. Now I see that also. He didn't say like that, no, but he went about meaning that. So Yajnavalkya, but don't worry now, wait now. I would tell Ram Katha now. Like that. So how the Ram Katha is introduced into the whole thing. This is just before 104. Siva Samako Raghupati Bratadhari Binu Aga Taji Sati Asi Nari Panu Kari Raghupati Vagati Dekhai Ko Siva Sama Ram Priya Bhai. He praises Lord Shiva. This is Yajnavalkya and all, and Bharadvaj praising Lord Shiva. And then he describes after 105. What is that? But one day, Lord Shiva, Yajnavalkya is continuing now. Because he has to introduce Ram Katha, because really he asked to tell Ram Katha. So how the Ram Katha comes? Like this. See, after 105, Bhagwan Shiva is one day sitting on the Bata Bitapa Bisala, a big banyan tree. Lord Shiva is sitting there one day. Then Parvati ji came and she sat beside him. Which side? Left side. This is after number 106. You'll have to take a little jump there, right? Tulsidas describes. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
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 Bhaite so kaam ripu kaise.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Dhare पार्वती भल अवसर जानी।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
गई शंभु पही मातु भवानी।
श्री राम जय जय राम।
जानी प्रिया आदरुवती कीन्हा।
श्री राम जय जय राम।
वाम भाग आसनु हर दीन्हा।
श्री राम जय जय राम।
बैठी शिव समीप शाई।
श्री राम जय जय राम।
पूर्व जन्म कथा चित आई।
श्री राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम।
जय रघुराम
जय रघुराम।
जय सीताराम।
जय सीताराम।
They soha kamaripu kaise. Lord Shiva is called as Kamaripu. How many names for Lord Shiva also? The enemy of Kam. Dhare Sariru Santarasa Jaise. And he sat there peacefully under this tree. Parvati Bala Avasaru Jani. Parvati ji knew now it is a good time. Good time for what? To ask him over Ram Katha. Now see, he himself had told her Ram Katha in the previous avatar of Sati. But she did not listen. Agastya Muni had told Ram Katha, but nothing. Daksha Sutta did not listen. Daksha Kumari, she did not listen. But now, Jani Priya Adaru Ati Kinha Bamabag Asana Hara Dinha. Lord Shiva gave her seat right on his left side. Beiti Sivasami Paharashai Purva Janma Katha Chitalai. Sitting beside Lord Shiva, she remembered in her mind, brought to her mind her whole previous birth like that. And now, after 107, you will see, she does the traditional, and let me tell you something. This is called, in the Vedic tradition, very important thing. From there to where I jump now, in between there is something called as Guru Upasadana. Say that word. Guru Upasadana. Guru Upasadana means we are going to ask the Guru, or we are going to ask the knowledgeable one, Jnani, Mahatma, Santa, whoever, we are going to ask. There is a proper way to ask also. So in those verses, there is a proper way to approach. Saguru Mevabhigachet Samit Panihi Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam Ityadi is given in scriptures and all. There is a proper way to approach and to ask for permission and, like that. You just don't say, so boy, what about so and so? You go and you tell the Guru, so boy, what about so and so? That is not the way to ask. And you catch him anyway and ask. No. See, she's there also. In Aranyakand, we'll see Lakshmana asked Bhagwan Ram. Bhagwan Ram was sitting very comfortably and right time, right place, everything. They're asking. Guru Upasadana means that the approach and the mannerism and all of that is given there. And then she asked very nicely, after telling him that he is Sarvajna, Viswanatha, Mamanath, Purari. Same thing, Lakshmana. Prabhu, you are the Lord of the whole universe, Lakshmana told Rama. Now she is telling, you are the Lord of the whole universe. Tribhuvana Mahima, Vidita Tumhari, your glory is known everywhere. I want to ask you these questions. You will answer? You have to ask also. You will tell. You have time to tell. You want to tell. You're in the mood. Because sometimes it doesn't want to tell. So now after 107, like this. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama 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 To Prabhu Harahu मोर अज्ञाना कही रघुनाथ कथा विधि नाना श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम चासु भवनु सुर तरुतर होई सही की दरिद्र जनित दुख सोई श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम शशि भूषण हृदय विचारी हरहुनाथ मम मति भ्रमवारी श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम बोलो राम 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 सीता Ramachandra ki jai. In the first line itself, it is so important that the student or the questioner, or the seeker, the aspirant, the one who is, going to ask the question, right? He has to recognize, Tau Prabhu Harahu Mor Ajnana. Prabhu, you please remove my ajnana. Ajnana means ignorance. If a person doesn't admit his ignorance, then he's going to go nowhere. We have to admit that. Kahi Raghunath Katha Vidhi Nana. You tell, and then second thing, get straight to the point. Straight to the point. Kahi Raghunath Katha Vidhi Nana. You tell the various kathas of Raghunath. She asked. Jasu bhavana sura taru tar hoi sahi ki daridra janit dukhu soi. He who has surataru, the Lord Ishvara, who has the wish-fulfilling tree of all things, he can become poor and get sorrow. He who has everything. This is very confusing. You just go down a little bit. Prabhu je muni paramartha badi kahi ram kahu brahma anadi Sesha Sarada Veda Purana Sakala Karahi Raghupati Guna Gana. Means all the rishis, munis and all. Muni Paramarthavadi. Those who are Paramarthavadi means those who speak about the absolute reality. Those who are conversant in the Upanishadic language. They call us Paramatavadi means those who speak about the oneness of the universe, which I was telling you about just now. So they all, Kahi Ram, Kahu Brahma Anadi, they all say that Ram is Brahma, the absolute reality. Sesh Nag, Sharad means Saraswati. Veda Purana, the Veda and the Purana, Sakala Karahi Raghupati Guna Gana, they all sing the glories of Ram. Tumaponi Rama Rama Dina Rati. You also go on saying Ram 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 day and night. She's telling you. Sadara Japahu Ananga Arati. You, with great reverence and love, you go on chanting the name, doing japa of the name of Ram. Ramuso Avad Nripati Sutta Soi Ki Aja Aguna Alakhagati Koi. Is that Ram, the son of some king in Ayodhya, or is that Ram who is unborn, without qualities, without name, and so on? Who is this Ram in number? See, this is now number 108. Nripatanayat Brahmakini Nari Virahumati Bhori Rama Nari Virahamati Bhori Dekhi Charita Mahima Sunata Brahmati Buddhiyati Mori Siya Para Rama Chandra Ki Jai Sharanam Pavan Sut Hanuman Ki Jai Umapati Mahadev Ki Jai Bolo Bhai Sab Santan Ki Jai Siyavar Ramachandra Ki Jai Sharanam. This doha has many wonderful elements for our spiritual path. You please pay attention to it. Jau Nripatanayata Brahma. Is he the son of some king in Ayodhya? Or is he Brahma, the absolute reality behind this whole universe, whole manifested universe? The reality, which is the substratum, the adhisthana of this whole universe. Just like a rope is an adhisthana of a snake. And when proper inquiry is done, we realize there is no snake, there is only rope. So is Ram that Brahma who is the adhisthana of this universe? Or is that Ram, that son of some king in Ayodhya? Nari Biraha Mati Bhori, who lost his wife and was crying. Dekhi Charitra, when we see his life. And Mahima Sunata, when we hear his glory from scriptures. Prabhu, they don't seem to match. Brahmati Buddhiyati Mori. Now see, this is exact same problem Parvati had as Sati. Now see what has happened. I want you to see what all things. First thing is about a jiva. When that jiva leaves this body and goes to the next body, none of jiva's problems get corrected, you know. None of jiva's problems get corrected. This is one reason why it is absolutely foolish to commit suicide. Because no problem gets solved. Not only that, in case of suicide, he has now increased the problem. Because he committed such an act for which there is going to be such dire consequences. So the jiva goes with every same quality. Now, she had this exact same doubt as Sati. She is demonstrating. Same doubt. Now she comes back and she asks the same question. And she said, she is herself, Brahmati Buddhiyati Mori. This confusion, conflict in the intellect is still there. Second thing, and this is very, very important thing. No amount of tapas can send away that doubt. That is why we saw the very first line which I chanted is, she tells, you please remove my ajnana. Ajnana means ignorant. Tapas cannot send away ajnana. No action can send away ignorance. There is only one antidote to ignorance. Like there is only one antidote to darkness. The antidote to darkness is light. And so there is only one antidote to ignorance. The antidote to ignorance is knowledge. And therefore she herself starts. Now she is set on a right footing. She starts on the right foot. You remove my ignorance, first thing. Second thing, that this doubt has been plaguing my mind for such a long time. Third thing, the tapas brought to her great penance. Tapas is many times translated as penance. So the tapas brought to her now the requisite or required shraddha, which she did not have. See, it will bring the shraddha, but it will not bring jnana. And the shraddha is required, the faith is required. I mean, the faith has started to manifest. She is the very embodiment of faith. But the tapas now brings it out. That is the idea, the shraddha. We say, Bhavani Shankaro Vande, Shraddha Vishwasa Rupina. Very Rupa form is shraddha. So the tapas brings out that shraddha, but the shraddha is a prerequisite. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Bhagavan says in Gita. The one who has the shraddha will get the jnanam. So that tapas brought out the shraddha, and now she is ready. And now, instead of Bhagavan explaining to her on his own, now she herself asks. Oh, Prabhu, the seeing the behavior of this Ram and reading about his glories and hearing about his glories and all of that thing, the two do not match. Now you tell me. And now she goes on to ask so many questions about that Ram, all the things she wants to know. Jau aniha vyapaka bhivu ko kahu bujai nath muhi. So is he the same Ram? Is that he the same Brahman or somebody else? Main ban dikhi Ram prabhutai ativaya bikalana tumahi sunai. And when I saw Ram in that forest, I did not listen to your words at the time. Tadapi malina mana boduna ava. That time my mind was impure. And another thing, tapas also brings purity of mind. So phalu bhali anti hama pava. And there's a recognition now of the mistakes. And she said, I reap the results of those mistakes also. She is admitting. In other words, she is sending away all the durgunas from the mind and making the mind now more and more receptive for the knowledge. Ajahu kachu samsahu mana more. But the doubt remains, because a doubt is really a gap of ignorance filled with a thought that is viparita. Viparita in English is what? Contrary. A doubt is a gap of ignorance filled by a contrary thought. Means what really is the truth. That gap is filled by untruth. You see? Ajahu kuch, she says, up till now it is there. Karo kripa binavau kara jore. I put my hands together and I beg you, please have compassion, kripa on me and remove my doubt. Tabakara asa vimoha ava nahi ram katha par ruchi mana mahi. That time I did not have any ruchi and interest in Ram Katha, but now I really want to know this, hear this Ram Katha. And from who? The one who is the originator of Ram Katha. Bhagavan Shankar himself. Kau punit Rama Gunagatha Bhujagaraj Bhushana Suranatha. Tell me this very pure and unsullied katha of Bhagavan Ram. Ati Arati Puchau Suraraya. I am with great pain in my heart, I am asking. I have to know. Pratama Sokarana Kau Bichari Nirguna Brahma Saguna Vapudhari. Tell first of all. Now this is the first question. Prathama. So, Kara, first, tell. For what reason or why the Nirguna Brahma, absolute reality, takes avatar? Vapudhari. Takes on a body. You tell this. Puni Prabhu Kau Ram Avatara. Then you tell all about that avatar. Bala Charita Puni Kau Udara. Now see, I want you to pay attention to one more thing here. She's telling to tell Ram Katha, and she's asking the question, is it the same Ram who is from Ayodhya, is the same as the Parabrahma, absolute reality? And without waiting for an answer, now she is asking about the avatar. No, in other words, she had heard this before. She knew it was the same Ram who is Brahma and all. She knows it. So now you tell me about his avatar and tell me about Balacharit, means all his childhood sports. Kau Jatha Janaki Vivahi. Tell me about his marriage to Sita ji. Raj Taja. So Dushana Kahi. Tell me about his dropping the kingdom and going to the forest and all. Banabasi Keen he Charita Apara. Kau Nath Jimmy Ravana Mara. And tell me about all that story and how he ended up killing Ravan. Rajuvai to Keen he Bahu Leela. And then he came and sat on the throne there for such a long time. Sakalakahahu Sankara Sukha Sila. Tell all of it, I want to hear. And finally in 110, this is the last for today. सहित रघुवंश मणि तिनि गवने निज धाम सिया बर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन बहुरीकाऊ करुणायतना कीन जो अचरज राम। हे कृपा धाम, फिर कहा अद्भुत चरित कहिए, फिर वो अद्भुत चरित कहिए जो श्री रामचंद्र जी ने किया. You tell all the wondrous sports of Bhagwan Ram. You tell that to me. And Praja Sahit, and tell also now, and this last line, a very interesting line. You all may not know, but I may have failed to tell in the past also. When Bhagwan Ram left this earth, he took every citizen of Ayodhya with him. Ayodhya was bare. You have heard this fact before? This is 110. Parvati ji asked. He took them, Bhagwan, this loka is Saket Lok. He took every citizen of Ayodhya to Saket Lok. Parvati ji asked, Praja Sahit Raghuban Samani, Kimi Gavane Nijatham. And tell me about this. Parvati ji wants to know. That is why Tulsidas ji does salutations to Ayodhya. In beginning, remember when we were doing salutations portion, he does salutations to Ayodhya also. Recently, all the group who had gone to India or all the, who were here had the opportunity to go to Ayodhya, most blessed place. And just only a few months ago, the Supreme Court of India finally, on the authority of the Vedas, gave that Janma Bhumi to the Sanstha there to start a Ram Mandir. But Ayodhya And see, symbolically also, if you take, you forget the physical thing and all, symbolically, Ayodhya is that heart which is bereft of any struggle, any fight, any duality. Because for fight and struggle, there must be a duality. And anybody who can bring that integration in his heart and remove all duality, that person will find Saket Lok, will find that Ramatham, abode of Ram. So she wants to know this story also. All things she asks. Okay, tomorrow we'll see. Briefly again she will ask few questions, but we are doing till 10 Doha, na? See, today we are ahead. And then Bhagwan Shiva will start Ram Katha. Okay. All right. Let me say thank you to all those who contributed in various ways to make it possible here tonight. To the members of this Fireburn, well, let us say Fireburn or Fireburn? Because there's something called a bonfire, you know. Fireburn Temple. Thank you to the members here. Let me call on Chandini Ramnath to do a vote of thanks and also to receive this. Chandini is here? And receive. In the meantime, special thank you to the Sevikas from Chinmaya Mission who came and chanted Ramayana. We had some wonderful chanting in a very familiar tune again. Very good. Tomorrow satsang, Omkar Mandir, Barakpur. Omkar Mandir in Barakpur tomorrow. Okay. Please have a look at our bookstall at the back. There are so many titles. Mahamrityunjaya Mantra. Om Trembakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshi Yamamritat. All the explanation of the whole mantra. In a whole book it takes to explain one mantra. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. And children also, titles are there. Please have a look on your way out. Chandini is here. Please receive this on behalf of the mandir. And it is the whole Ramayana in a flash drive. So for you and members of the Ramayana from our side. Huh? And you will also say a few words? Yeah? Okay. Thank you, Chandini. She will not say a few words. We'll all stand for Arati and then we'll close. आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी यावत ब्रह्मा धिक मुनि नारद वाल्मीकि विज्ञान विशारद सुख सनकादिश सारद वरनि पवन सुत कीरति
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी
गावत वेद पुराण अष्टदश छौ शास्त्र सब ग्रंथन कोरस मुनि जन धन संतन को सर्वस सार अंश सम्मत सब ही की
आरती श्री राम
भवत संतत शंभु भवानी अर्भत संभव मुनि विज्ञानी व्यास आदि कवि वर्ज बखानी काग हो शुंड गरुड़ के ही
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलित ललित सिया प्रीति आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलित ललित सिया प्रीति
कमल हरनि विषय रस फीकी सुभग सिंगार मुक्ति जुबती दलन रोग भव मूरियमी की कात मात सब विधि तुलसी की
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलित ललित सिया प्रीति आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलित ललित सिया प्रीति
श्री राम जय 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 राम श्री राम जय 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 राम
श्री राम जय जय राम
श्री राम जय जय राम मंगलम भगवान विष्णु मंगलम गरुड़ध्वजः मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्षं मंगलायतनो हरि त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम बोले सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव।